sign up for here, but dare I do you like the biblical analogies, I'll do one here. There was David versus Goliath, and I think Dave can take down Google. This Dave. And look, there's a reason that we all believe the little guy can beat the big guy. You know why that is? Because David beat Goliath. Why do I rail against YouTube all day when they're censoring me and demonetizing you? It's slightly crazy to do it, but you know, there's a story. David beat Goliath. My name happens to be David, so if David could beat Goliath, maybe Dave could beat Google. I mean, I think we have to come around to realize that looking backward, why do we believe that the little guy can beat the big guy? Why do I always attack Google when they crush my videos? Well, you know, there's a story, David beat Goliath, right? There are time-tested stories that I think have value that actually, this is probably the best way I can answer it. It's a functional version of belief. Some people need a belief that is like sort of transcendent and deeply spiritual. David, right? Like, why am I always attacking Google every time they demonetize me or push one of my videos down? Well, it's not, yeah, well, first of all, it sucks, right? It sucks, but why do I do it? No one in their right mind thinks that they can beat Google, but there's an eternal truth there. David beat Goliath. There is a reason that I believe that Dave can beat Google, and it's because David beat Goliath. Those stories have some meaning over time that will allow us to flourish as human beings. Giant companies have endless cascading problems that I just don't think that they're equipped to deal with. I think this is actually kind of why David was able to beat Goliath, right? Like, Goliath grew so big that it was actually, you could take him out with one little shot from a slingshot. And I think that's sort of what these companies are. They've grown so big that they have so many problems, so many competing interests. Then you inject social justice in it, so you're not even hiring your best engineers anymore. Ben, as a guy in a yarmulke, you know the story of David versus Goliath. I've sort of become Dave versus YouTube. I mean, I've been one of the most outspoken people on this because it's impossible to tell what's going on. That those stories teach you something eternal, that no matter how bad it looks, it can turn around. That the little guy, David, can beat Goliath, which is why Dave here can fight Google, because I believe the little guy can beat the big guy. Well, look, David beat Goliath, so, you know, I always say maybe Dave here can beat Google. I always think there's a chance.
So, you know, the word demon is in demonetized, and I can tell you as someone that's dealing with some of this stuff, that it appears at least that there's some pretty shady stuff going on. You know, look, I don't want to fight Google and YouTube. You know, there's a biblical story of David versus Goliath. I don't want to be Dave versus Google, because it probably won't work out.
You know, maybe in this story, and this is sort of what you're getting at, that Trump is the Moses character, meaning he will lead the Hebrews out of Egypt. And I have to say that my brain is still in recovery mode from taking in so many high-level important ideas.